Let's be real for a second. You've got a drawer or a closet or maybe like a whole corner of your apartment filled with stuff you are absolutely 100% gonna sell someday, right? That old phone, the guitar you played twice, you know you should, you even want to, but it just never happens. So what's the deal? Well, it turns out the apps on your phone are using some pretty sneaky and powerful psychological tricks to get us to act. And today, we're gonna pull back the curtain and see exactly how they do.
I mean, it's a super common feeling, isn't it? You have this great intention. You want to make some cash, you want to be more sustainable, but your actions just don't follow through. It's like there's this invisible wall between wanting to do something and actually doing it. Well, believe it or not, that wall has a name.
It's called the attitude-behavior gap, and it's this exact disconnect that psychologists and app designers are completely obsessed with figuring out. They know we have good intentions, so the big question for them is, how can we build a bridge over this gap to turn what we want to do into what we actually do? The answer, it turns out, is in the basic science of what makes us all tick.
So, yeah, what does make us act? To really get it, we need a simple way to think about how any action happens in the first place. And lucky for us, there's a really brilliant model that just breaks it all down.
It's called Fogg's behavior model, and honestly, this thing is a game changer. It says that for any behavior to happen, I mean anything, from brushing your teeth to selling that old iPad, you need three things to line up at the exact same time. You need the motivation, you need the ability, and you need a trigger. If you're missing even one of those, poof, nothing happens. You stay on the couch. Okay, check this out. This graph shows it perfectly. This is the action curve. Just think of it like this. For any prompt or trigger to actually work, your mix of motivation and ability has to land you above that curvy line. So if your motivation is sky high, like you desperately need money for rent, you'll figure out how to sell something even if it's a huge pain in the neck. Your ability is low, but motivation is high. On the flip side, if it's super easy to do, like it takes 2 taps on an app, you barely need any motivation at all to get it done. So just to nail it down, motivation is your why. Why are you doing this? For money? For the planet? Ability is the how easy. Is this app a breeze to use, or is it a total nightmare? And the trigger, that's the now. It's that little buzz in your pocket, that notification, that little red dot that just screams, hey, pay attention, do this thing right now. So if you're an app designer, you've got 3 levers you can pull, right? You can try to boost my motivation, you can make the app easier to use, or you can design a really, really good trigger. And while they can't magically make me care more, and making things easier is a ton of work, they have found an incredibly effective way to design triggers that we just can't ignore. They turn it into a game. And this is the whole idea behind gamification. We're not just talking about silly points and badges. No. This is about tapping into the deep psychological drivers that make games so addictive and applying them to boring, everyday stuff. It's about crafting triggers that are almost impossible to resist. And yeah, there's a whole playbook for it.
Whoa, okay. I know this looks kind of complicated, but stick with me. It's actually pretty straightforward. This is the Octalis framework. Think of it as a map of the 8 core things that motivate all of us. Up at the top, you've got the positive stuff, the feel-good drives, like our desire for meaning and accomplishment. But then, look at the bottom half. That's where you find the darker, more primal stuff. Scarcity, that's our fear of losing out, and unpredictability, our obsession with not knowing what's next. And as you're about to see, not all of these are created equal.
So this whole framework is basically split in 2. The stuff at the top is called white hat. These techniques make you feel awesome, empowered, creative, like you're in control. Think about filling up a progress bar or contributing to a good cause. The stuff at the bottom, that's black hat. And these techniques tap into our anxiety, our sense of urgency, our fear of missing out, FOMO, our addiction to random chance. Think of a countdown timer on a sale or a limited time offer. So which one do you think actually works better? Well, researchers at Chiba University decided to find out. They set up this brilliant experiment to answer one simple question. Which kind of gamification, the feel-good white hat stuff or the stressful black hat stuff, is better at actually pushing people over that gap to finally sell their old electronics? So here's how they did it. This slide shows the actual flow of the apps they designed. Now, I know it looks a little busy, but the idea was simple. They created 3 different app experiences, all designed to get users to sell an old iPad. And as we're about to see, those 3 experiences were very different.
Okay, so Group 1 got the Control app. It was basic, no frills, just functional. Group 2 got the white hat version. It was full of positive, empowering stuff, quests, progress bars, a humanity hero mission. Then there was Group 3. They got the Black Hat app, which was specifically designed to create stress, with things like countdown timers, random surprise rewards, and that feeling that you might lose out if you don't act fast. So, before we get to the juicy part, what's your guess? Which app do you think people actually liked using the most? The simple one, the feel-good, heroic one, or the stressful but exciting one? All right, so first off, no big surprise here. People found both the White Hat and Black Hat apps way more attractive and interesting than the boring old standard version. I mean, duh. The White Hat app, the nice one, did score a little higher on things like being clear and efficient. People said it felt comfortable to use. But that is not the whole story. Not even close. Because this is where it gets really interesting. It turns out that what people say they like and what actually drives their behavior, well, those can be two totally different things. And this is where the big surprise comes in. Just listen to this quote from one of the participants. They said the Black Hat app made them feel nervous, even a little uncomfortable. But at the same time, they found it more challenging, more innovative. It grabbed their attention in a way that the Nice app just couldn't. They were feeling two completely opposite things at once. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The White Hat app, it was comfortable, but, and this is key, without too much sense of motivation. Meanwhile, the Black Hat app created stress and pressure, but users also said they loved the feeling of surprise and the sense of challenge. One made them feel safe, the other got their heart pumping a little. So here it is, the million-dollar question. Which feeling actually gets the job done? Which app was more likely to get that iPad out of the drawer and finally list it for sale? The answer all came down to this one number, 71.67. That was the score for the Black Hat app. And here's the wild part. Despite making users feel stressed and uncomfortable, it was, by a long shot, the most effective at motivating them to actually complete the sale. The Feel Good app came in second, and the boring old standard app was way behind in a distant third. So what's the big takeaway here? It's that our brains are just wired in this really fascinating, kind of weird way. Feeling comfortable doesn't always get us off the couch. Sometimes it's that thrill of a challenge, that fear of missing out, that rush of an unpredictable reward that gives us the huge push we need to get over that action curve. These Black Hat techniques are so powerful because they basically hijack our brain's wiring and create this irresistible urge to act right now. And this brings us right back to you and the phone in your pocket. The next time you feel that sudden urge to buy something because a deal is about to end, or you can't stop refreshing an app waiting for a random reward, just take a second. You're not just using an app. That app is actively using your own psychology to guide what you do next. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? How are they shaping your decisions every single day?